Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video the contents will include a video from Nigel Farage on Tommy Robinson and some recent responses from Tommy Robinson himself. I feel this video may be of interest to you guys, just if you're just wondering what's happening with Tommy. He's gone away on holiday for 2 weeks, and when he comes back he's going to speak to his lawyers and possibly create a good defence for his retrial on the 4th of September. So let's have a look what's been happening recently, and it's up to you to make your mind up what you think. See you later.
Home sweet home. I know I've got so many people I need to thank, so much I want to say. I've got loads to say, but I feel anxious. I feel anxious and it's a bit strange, but I want to share this next moment with you because it's everyone who supported me, it's every one of you that's made this possible. And my son and my children have taken this so bad. I'll just read these most recent emails. Hi babe, Saturday night. Back from visiting you today. Don't know what to say about Spencer really. He is absolutely heartbroken. He cried the whole way back. We went to TGI and he was crying, saying every kid is with their dad and I'm the only one that doesn't have my dad here to do things. He cried himself to sleep. He got into a right state. He was saying he misses you so much and wants you home. He was angry at himself for getting upset in front of you. Says he doesn't want you to see him crying, and he tried not to cry on every visit, but he cannot help it. He's saying he doesn't want to go to Tenerife on holiday if you're not coming. He told me to cancel and said he would not get on a plane if it's not with you. Here's the fabulous moment. A year ago I booked a holiday with my family, with all of my family, to go to Tenerife for 2 weeks. We go on holiday on Friday, in 24 hours. I did not expect to come home today. I've been released today. My children are on their way home now. They weren't at home. So I just want to share that moment. Now I could be bitter and angry about everything that's happened. If I'm bitter and angry, I'd accept my own victimhood. I'm their target, I'm not their victim. It's not the same for my son or for my family, but as I said, I've got so much to say about everything that's gone on, but I just want to share this moment with you as they come in. I'm anxious waiting for him, and I cannot wait. I am so excited. I've been emotional many times because I know how upset my children have been. And they don't know I'm home. My children don't know I'm home. They don't know I've been released. They're going to in a minute. Come in.
Daddy!
Guess who's coming on holiday?
Daddy!
Coming on holiday, babe. Come here. Come here. Oh, I'm sorry. You home? So, I know I'm going to have so many thank yous I need to give. People who I want to meet and thank personally. People all over the world. From Ezra Levant and Rebel Media, who've been absolute legends through this, to Raheem Kassan, to Gert Wilders, to the Middle East Forum. Do you know when I'm sitting reading emails in my cell? I'm reading emails from people who I've not met, many of them, who are saying we're not going to rest until he's freed. It was such a feeling to know the support, and I've got so much I want to speak on this, but all I want this to be about is the thank yous to people. I owe people all over the world thank yous. I owe every single one of you to say that the moment of me coming home, I feel great to be home, but also I'll go into it all when I get back off my holiday, but what they have attempted to do is mentally destroy me. That was not a prison sentence. That was mental torture. That's solitary confinement, all of it. Everything was orchestrated and organised to cause me maximum disruptions. So yeah, I feel nervous. I feel I've got butterflies constantly. I know I've only just come home and it sounds weird, but mainly this is just thank yous. And one thank you I want to give a special thank you to is my lawyers, my solicitors, my legal team, and every one of you that supported them and made it possible. But John Carson from Carson K, Kelly Rowan, and the QC, Jeremy Dean. One more thank you. Actually, there's so many thank yous. I keep remembering UKIP, Gerard Batten, Lord Pearson, person after person after person who come out and put their neck and their reputation on the line. Do you know what I'm happy for right now? The reason why I'm happy is because I've watched and I've read as firemen were suspended, as school teachers were suspended for simply saying that they saw something that was wrong and they didn't agree with it and they thought it was wrong. today you've all been proven right. You've all been proven correct. And I've watched, as journalist after journalist, they wrote hit piece after hit piece after hit piece, from Sky News to BBC to Channel 4. And if they even knew the current mood of the country or understood the feeling, they'd see by the likes and the responses to their own media articles that the public don't buy it anymore. And that's it. That's just the thank yous. And yeah, I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to go take 2 weeks now to just chill my family, no mobile. What I want to say, when I come back in 2 weeks, I want every single one of you to join me, as George is brilliantly going to put together, start to finish. I want to see what's been going on. I've only read little post-its here and there and messages. I want to watch from start to finish what happened from the minute I was taken off the street to the minute I got released. I want all of you to join me as I watch it. So I'll be seeing you all soon when I'm back. Thank you again. I can't express my gratitude enough.
Robinson has been jailed for 13 months for contempt of court. And to many people, this is absolute proof that we're moving into a police state, that something truly awful is happening. Well, you've got half a point, folks, but only half a one. Let's be clear. Tommy Robinson was under a court order not to interfere with the judicial process in any way at all. He chose, for reasons of self-publicity, and not to benefit anything that would help society, he chose willfully to breach that. He was warned that he was in breach of that, decided to continue. Frankly, the judge had almost no choice but to give him a jail sentence. So I think Robinson, frankly, was out there asking for trouble, and I don't think it was a very bright thing to do. Now, against that, let me just say that there does appear to be a very strong desire and willingness amongst much of the police and our judiciary to clamp down on people who make certain criticisms in society, and we are not dealing here with a level playing field. The whole point about religious freedom and tolerance is we should all be able to criticise and even mock each other. And I do worry that we're moving into a position where you can criticise some groups in society but not criticise others. And I think for those of you who see Robinson as a hero, well, OK, maybe he does stand up for his point of view. But believe you me, his imprisonment in this case is not heroic in any way at all. And that, of course, will surprise some of you. But let me just say this finally. The fact we weren't allowed to talk about this for several days because of reporting restrictions is just a nonsense, because the internet has been awash with it. And the reason is the legislation covering reporting restrictions came in 1982 when, well, hardly anybody even had a computer.
I think where UKIP is now is quite different from, say, when you were in charge, in that it's become quite harder. It's more interested in the Islam issue. It's more interested in the Tommy Robinson issue. I mean, do you think that UKIP has made a strategic error given the broader political context?
Look, a lot of people in this country are concerned about Islam. A lot of people in this country see Tommy Robinson as a working-class hero. I don't particularly necessarily share the entirety of that. I think he was dealt with very, very harshly and perhaps unfairly. Look, Matthew, I don't know.
So, where do I start? I'll be on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News at 1 a.m. in 2 hours' time. And I'll just an appeal to the journalists again. Journalists who for the last 2 days have spent their days harassing my mother. All day again today, journalists have been knocking at my mother's door, at her neighbours' doors. They have been going to my old addresses, knocking at my old neighbours' houses. My children were actually present when they went to my mum's with their cameras. My mother, in the last weeks, received intel from British police in black and white, in a form, that there are plans to target her. And journalists are basically, I think, drawing attention to where my family are. They're trying to find me. They're trying to find me. They know under full knowledge of the death threats I live under, yet still you're not just playing with my life, but you're attempting to play with my family's and my children's for no. So I've decided, after the non-stop for the last 2 days, that I'll speak about these issues before I do go on holiday, but not to British, lying, dishonest media. I'll speak on an open platform for a fair talk. I'll speak with Tucker Carlson. So yeah, that's it. Just to let people know, if you sign on, I'll be on Tucker Carlson in 2 hours, where we can go over these issues. I'll go over what's gone on. So what else was I going to say? And that's it. I know I've said my thank yous. I'll be on Tucker Carlson. But my main thing is, if you are a journalist and you've spent your last 2 days harassing my family, please stop. They're completely innocent in this. They've done nothing. If I wanted to talk to you, I would have spoke to you. I don't want to. I don't want to see you. What you've actually done is completely expose yourself to the entire country. The distrust in your media. In fact, I know there's been 4 national radio discussions today about what's happened with me, and the main topic of conversation on each one of them wasn't about any of the injustice that's happened with me. It wasn't concern for anything of what's gone on with the predicament I've been in. What they decided to bring up each time was something I might have said 7 years ago. And the main deeply offensive thing that I've said is Muslim rape gangs. Not concerned about the victims of these attacks, not concerned about the fact that what we've currently witnessed, the British public feel, what they've witnessed happen over the last few months is the sort of thing you'd see in North Korea rather than Great Britain. No deep concerns about any of this, not even focusing on what the judge has said. In fact, just brushing over all of that to try and again, even after all this has come out. I watched Nick Ferrari do it today, and what I don't understand, Nick Ferrari hasn't tried to contact me. In fact, I don't know about yourselves, but through all of this, I haven't caught up on everything, but what's quite disheartening is, which I'll go into more detail tonight, is when you know serious wrongs have happened to you at a time, when you know illegal things have happened, which finally have now been proven, when you know that your mental health is purposely being targeted, when you know all of this has really separated certain people on the outside. There's many people who don't support me or like me, who have come out in support of and said that this is wrong. I had many emails from people saying I sit on the left, I don't like you, I don't agree with your politics, but I'm disgusted at currently what's happening. And when you have someone who's supposedly a champion for the people who are being oppressed to speak up, like Nigel Farage, when you have someone like Nigel Farage who doesn't investigate this case at all, doesn't look at any of the facts of this case, anything at all, has done no research in it, who rather would sit and take a moral high ground on his hundreds of £1,000s a year job for LBC Radio, who seems to have forgot, but actually become part of the elite that he so opposed, and would condemn you. Do you know how disheartening that was even when I was in prison and I know what's going on and I know all of these bad things, and to see that he's sitting in his position of power at the moment and chooses to condemn you rather than speak up for the injustice that is happening. And it's not like it's the first time. I know that what happened, and to be honest, for me, I just think that so many people who I thought what did you base that on? The mainstream media? You based the fact that I should be in prison on the mainstream media and on a kangaroo court trial, which, I'm not being funny, but there was video evidence for the world to watch to see if they thought I should be in prison. But I'm literally on the way now. I'm travelling to the studio to sit and talk about these issues, and hopefully to an American audience, this should act as a warning. In fact, they should be looking at everything that's happening in Europe as a warning to the path that the whole West is going down. And yeah, that's it. I'm not. I wasn't. Yeah. And don't really know what to say. That's it. It's good. It's good to be home. I've had a strange time, to be honest. And I'll see you on Fox News 1 a.m. Thank you and goodbye.
The United Kingdom has become a mere shadow of the nation that gave us freedom of speech, freedom of the press, a host of other rights that we take for granted but probably should not take for granted. Nobody knows that better than Tommy Robinson. In May of this year, he was arrested for attempting to cover the trial of a sexual grooming gang in the UK. For speaking out loud on the sidewalk, he was taken to prison. With barely any time to muster a defense, he was tried and sentenced to 13 months in jail. Now, after more than 2 months behind bars in solitary confinement, during which time he was attacked by journalists in the UK, almost nobody defended him. But tonight he has been released on bail after winning an appeal. Tommy Robinson joins us now for his first and only interview. Tommy Robinson, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. I know that you've spent the last 2.5 months by yourself in a cell, so you're probably feeling a little bit bewildered to be out. Tell us what it was like for you behind bars.
For me, behind bars, the way I was treated, I was taken to a prison with quite a low Muslim population. What I'm known for is criticising Islam, so there's been many planned attempts to murder me and kill me in this country. I was taken to a prison with a low Muslim population of 7%, where things were relatively normal. I was separated from other prisoners, but the prison officers made sure they opened my doors multiple times during the day, and they took me out to play pool and snooker with themselves. I was then taken from that prison and transferred to another prison. And I was transferred to the prison with the largest Muslim population in the UK for a CCAT prison. I was then put on solitary confinement, where I spent 2 months not seeing or speaking to anybody, and they used the reason that I was in danger. Now, they would have had risk assessments before I went there. I was purposely taken to be put in danger so that then that reason can be used to then put me on solitary confinement. And if you think about what has happened in this case, it took a number of hours to take me before a court, prosecute me, unlawfully imprison me, and then it took 2 months with the prisons moving me to prevent my legal access, shortening my legal visits, and it took months before I got the opportunity to go before a judge. Once the judge heard what had happened in the trial, we found so many illegal and wrongdoings within this kangaroo court that then it took another 2 weeks before I was freed. And to be honest, this whole encounter, if you talk about, I haven't eaten. I've lost nearly 40 pounds in prison. I had 1 tin of tuna and a piece of fruit a day. I was supposed to be in Her Majesty's prison service, not Guantanamo Bay. I couldn't open my windows because I was having excrement and spit put through them. I believe this whole process, and Tucker, this isn't the first.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but who was putting excrement through your window and spit through your window?
So my prison cell that I was put in was on the lower level, the ground level, which it didn't have to be. So it's on the ground level. So every prisoner would walk past my cell window, everyone as they walk out. So when my windows were open, every prisoner's walking past. The mosque for the prison was directly opposite my cell. So every time, and we've had huge heat waves, I was literally drenched day to day, and I had excrement and spit thrown through the doors, through my windows. So in the end, I had completely blocked up windows, had to block up all of my cell windows. And all of this, when I say this, to a lot of people around the world, this current case, and the world has watched it, has shocked them. For me, this has been nothing new. There's some things I have not spoke about in the past, where in 2012, I spent 5 months on solitary confinement in the British prison. This goes against every human right and every law. I spent 5 months on psychological. When I come out, I was diagnosed with a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. I've never spoke about that publicly because I don't want to insult members of the military who have witnessed war and try and compare being locked in a cell and on solitary confinement to that. But my medical records are fully aware, that the authorities are fully aware of them, the government are fully aware of them, the prison service are fully aware of them. They know what that did to me. They know what I went through after that. They elite.
But I guess
may I interrupt you?
I just want I just want our viewers to understand why this happened to you in the first place. You went to prison in a supposedly free country for expressing unfashionable opinions in public. Did you, with this last round, you've been in jail for 2 months, did you hit anybody? Did you steal anything? Or did you say something the government didn't like?
There was a court case going on where 29 people were in court for gang raping up to 100 young children. Now, I stood outside the court and I spoke, and all I done was read a BBC News article that is still online now for millions of people to see. Now, and I was taken, and everyone would have watched the video. They said for a breach of the peace. They transported me to a police custody, and then my solicitor contacted the police custody. Then they emailed my solicitor, which my solicitor has this email, saying I was being released. Then they took me in a van back to the court through the back door. They put me up before a judge. And media reports have said that I pled guilty. At no point was I even asked whether I was guilty or not guilty. I was not even told, and I still, to this point now, have not been told and do not know what it is I'm deemed to have done wrong. In a British court of law, for a fair trial for anyone, they have to understand what it is they're being accused of. Contempt of court. That's all I've been told. What contempt of court? I was fully aware outside that court. I made sure to point out that these men are innocent until proven guilty. I said alleged. I was non-confrontational. There is not the judges, and I know the law. The judges have no power to issue reporting restrictions on anybody, on any information that is already in the public domain. I was taken and whisked away, and what we've seen this week is the highest judge in our country has completely condemned this as flawed, completely criticised the handling of this case, the kangaroo court style it was to imprison me. And my biggest concern with it is, at this time, that when this has happened, and so many people, I say thank you to the Middle East Forum, a thank you to Congressman Gosar, a thank you to Ambassador Brownback, people, a thank you to yourself, Tucker, people who come out, because we know that in this country, anyone who speaks about Islam, you can be completely liberal. The minute you mention, criticise Islam, you are deemed and attacked by everybody. Now, and people put their neck on the line.
Let me just ask you now, did anyone defend you? I mean, even if people disagree with you, you would think some would say he has a right, this man has a right to express his opinions. Did anybody defend your right to say what you think is true?
Everyone of authority and every media company and mainstream media lined up to completely do hatchet jobs about why I should be in prison and how I deserve to be in prison. And the worst one, I'm reading a human rights lawyer defending why I should be in prison. Now, I'm in prison. I'm facing absolute. Yep. They know what they're doing to me. They know. At the time when I was in prison, they then come and see me in my prison cell and say, police are on their way to your house because there's intel there's going to be acid attacks against your wife. Now, I'm
sorry, Tommy. We're out of time, okay. And on that sad note, I wish you good luck in recovering from this and on the time you're going to take off. And I just want our viewers to understand that this has happened in a country that we believed was free, and without our vigilance, it could happen here. That's not hysteria. It's real. Tommy Robinson, thank you very much.